So the second paragraph in the Rav Kook's Akdama to Shir HaShirim, הספרות, ציורה וחטובה. Literature, drawing, artistry, and sculpting. עומדים להוציא אל הפועל את כל המשגים הרוחניים. They are about to bring into reality all of spiritual concepts. המטבעים בעמק הנפש האנושית, that are imbued in depth in the human soul. וכל זמן שחסר גם שרטוט אחד, הגנוז בעמק הנפש. And as long as there is missing one line that is hidden in the depths of the soul, שלא יצא אל הפועל, that is not brought out into reality, עוד יש חובה על עבודת האמנות להוציאו. It is still incumbent upon the work of artistry to bring it into reality. There are different versions of Rav Kook's introduction to Shir HaShirim. I mentioned that a little bit last time. The first three words change in the way Rav Yehuda and Dr. Benjamin Moshe Levine edited it, but I don't see much to say on that. But he's using three words to describe different types of artistry. And it's really referring to all types of artistry. That they are there to give us spiritual expression. There is art that speaks only to the artist that creates the art, and there's art that speaks to, I'm not going to say everyone, but almost everyone that sees it, right?
Well, why would we just speaking to the artist itself? I mean, you would think that I would think that the guy is doing some art, and that it's something that he feels, but he's trying to imbue to other people?
That can be true, but he can also be touching things that Rav Kook is saying that are connected to all of humanity.
Yeah, okay.
There are things that are connected
but
to.
Why you say just for him?
No. There is some art where the artist is only touching things in his own soul, and it doesn't necessarily speak to other people. That's one level of artistry, and Rav Kook's saying there's a much greater, deeper level of artistry that relates to the soul of all of Klal Yisrael. Not only of Klal Yisrael, of all of humanity is touched by this. The artist is coming to reveal what is in all of us, in the depths of our soul, and bring it out into a way that we can see it. Sometimes it is often true that we don't know what is in the depths of our soul. When we look at certain types of art, it reveals things about ourselves that we otherwise may not have been aware of. The individual can reveal through their artistry details that free humanity and that are, as I said, connected to, or all of humanity has some type of connection and partnership with these things that are being expressed.
So we're trying to say that if extrapolate from what you said, that Shir HaShirim is trying to bring out in some form our connection, our love to God and God to us. So is that what he's saying?
Yeah, yes. Eventually, he's not gotten that far in his introduction yet. But yes, that is someplace where Rav Kook is definitely going. And if you think about it, what you said, that an artist uses other forms to bring us to a realization of something in our soul.
So it doesn't have to be straight out, I love you, but in some simile or whatever it is, you can extrapolate from the simile the actual feeling.
Right. That's the idea. And there are ideas, as I said, that we don't recognize. That by using the artist using his description of something or picture, statue, whatever it is, it then allows us to reveal something that's deep within our being. The ability to reveal hidden things, right, is something that's unique to mankind, that's different than all other created things. If you think about it, a cat is a cat, right? It is born a cat, it lives its life as a cat. It doesn't think about the ecology of the world and what its hunting mice has to do with the balance of the amount of grain that's available to us to eat and so on and so forth, right? That's not within a cat's possibility of thought, right? The cat's the cat, right? However, the human being is different than this. And it's hinted at, the Maharal says, it's hinted at in the pasuk, V'yetzer Hashem Elokim es Adam afar min ha'adama, that man is called man because we come from the earth, the Adama. Mm-hmm. From the earth were created all the animals, right? However, no other animal is given the name Adam. That's unique to mankind. All right? Now, the Maharal in Tefarat Israel, Perek Gimel, explores this idea. I want to look at some, the whole Perek is way too long for us to do, but I want to look at parts of the Perek and see how he develops this idea and illustrates it. So, on our source sheet.
It's the first one.
Right.
Maharal?
Yes, Maharal.
Gotcha.
There's one sheet which is the sheet for the
no problem.
chorus, and the other is Rav Kook's introduction that we'll be looking at every time. Ki ein laadam מעלתו האחרונה עד שנחשב מדרגתו בין העליונים ויהיה לו מהלכים בין העומדים האלה. A person doesn't reach his final elevated state, right, until he's thought about his level and the higher levels, right? And so that he can go to
the higher level
and
stand at the higher levels. Rak shenivra b'koach.
He's using malachim as a human being in Omdim or the malachim.
Or the animals that were created from the Adamah here.
I don't see that.
Shnivra b'koach, that these things were given, let's call koach potentialities.
Mm-hmm.
Ve'eno b'pal, but it is not a reality yet. She'en lo מעלתו האחרונה בפועל. Oh, sorry, I've typo. Because he doesn't have his final source state in actual existence yet, right? Man is created in one way with potentialities, right? And he can develop in different ways to different types to fulfill different potentials. As opposed to the cat.
They can't.
The cat doesn't think, I think I'd like to be a lion, right? It's not a...
How do you know? Have you ever asked one?
They don't talk very well. Hadam hu b'koach v'yatze el hapol. But the man has potentialities that can be brought into reality. V'ki kol shar nimtzaim eno min ha'adama shikrei ha'adam b'yichud b'shem adam al shem shenivra min ha'adama. And all other things that exists, they are not from the earth that they are called Adam. Not that they weren't created, but they're missing some of the essence of the earth that man has that other animals don't, and we'll see. B'yichud b'shem Adam, that is specific to the name Adam. Al shem shenivra min Adam, because he was created from the ground. Aval inyan ha'adam mityaches biyoter el ha'adama. The nature of man is because he is connected to the ground. V'zei ki adama hi miyuchedet b'zei. The ground is unique in this way. Shaya b'koach v'yesh ba'yitzya l'pol. Because the ground has potential and it can recognize that potential in different ways. Kol hadvarim asher yotzim mimenu tzmeichim ve'ilanot v'shar kol hadvarim vehi b'koach l'kol zeh. The ground creates different kinds of things that grow, trees, fruits, vegetables, etc., right? Mm-hmm. And they are all within the potential of the ground. Right? A cat can only create a cat, right? Mm-hmm. However, the ground can create all sorts of different things, right? All sorts of different things grow from it. All different types of animals were created from it, right? It can do things in different directions. V'zehu inyan ha'adam, and this is also the nature, let us say, of man. Shu b'koach v'yotzei shleimuto el hapoel. That he has these potentialities in different ways, right? And each person realizes that in his own way. Ulefichach shmo rui lo sheyeh meshutaf im ha'adama. Therefore, man, Adam, has a name that makes him a partner with the earth, Adama. Shimiuchedet letzeit min koach el hapol. Because both have potentialities that can be recognized in different ways. Bepeirot, utzmachim, with fruits, with herbage. V'kol asher shayach alaha, and everything that is, we see coming from the ground. V'ken hu ha'adam yotzei kocho el hapol, and so too with man, right? People are very different from each other. Much more, there is more difference between people, I'm going back to my cats again, than there are between two different cats, right? I'm not saying all cats are identical, but the common factor to cats, right, is much, much more than the common factors between human beings. Ulechen shlemut ha'adam nikra gam ken b'shem pri. Therefore, the fullness of man is also called in the name pri, the fruits of his labor, right? The fruit of his loins, and so on, right? These can be what one person produces can be very, very different than what another one produces. Remember the first three words that we had in this paragraph from Rav Kook: hasafrut, literature, ציורה, drawings, paintings, וחטובה, sculptures, right? Sculpting. Mm-hmm. These are different types of artistic expression of a man, right? Very, very different. Someone can be an excellent writer, right?
And a horrible painter.
Right. Someone can be an excellent painter and not be able to sculpt, right? All of these things can be true, right? And some person might not be able to do any of these things, but he can do something else, right? So this is the difference that exists in mankind that is similar to the different things that the earth can create, which separates us from all other creations from the earth, right? And gives us our similarity and partnership with the earth. The Maharal, whenever he quotes the Gemara in Tfiras Yisrael, he always gives you the citation before the Gemara. So I have preserved that in my quoting his citation. So he says there's a Gemara in Brachos Daf Vav. Shav lasot mitzvah v'nenas. If someone thought to do a mitzvah and he is prevented from doing it, yesh lo al ze schar ki'ilu asa mitzvah. He is given his reward as if he had done the mitzvah. The second half of the Gemara is if he thought to do an avera and he didn't get around to doing it, he's not given the punishment. Right? How does the Maharal explain this? V'zei mitzad ki schar la'atid hu l'neshama. The reward of a mitzvah isn't given to us in this world, right? That's Elisha ben Avuya's problem, right? That he thought the reward for things should be in this world, right? By the way, it's interesting that it's Rabbi Yaakov that says that, because Rabbi Yaakov was Elisha ben Avuya's son.
Wait a minute. I'm missing this conversation.
Elisha ben Avuya sees a child who's told by his father to go climb up a date tree and send away the mother bird and bring down the chicks or the eggs. And he does it, and he's coming down,
And he
falls and he dies. And it says that you should have the yamim. You should have long life for both of these mitzvahs. So he says, where is that? And so he says, obviously, the Torah is false because of this, and he becomes an apikoros. And the Gemara says he didn't know what Rabbi Yaakov taught. And Rabbi Yaakov is his son. I think it's very interesting that the cure to the father's illness is taught by his son. All right? So, but the reward is to the neshama, is what Rabbi Yaakov tells us, not to the goof, right? The neshama wanted to do the mitzvah, but the goof was prevented from doing it. So the neshama should still get its reward. When he was forced not to do this, it wasn't on the part of the neshama that he wasn't doing it. It was part on the goof. By the way, I would say if the ones is on the neshama I don't know how you would say this, but if the neshama somehow felt pressed and decided, I'm not going to do it, right? I don't think this would be true. That's not really an onus. I can force the body to do something. I cannot force someone's neshama to do something. V'lechen nitnin l'neshama schar ki'ilu asa ha-mitzvah. Therefore, the neshama gets it as if it were doing the mitzvah. Meaning, animals don't have bechira, right? We don't say, for instance, going back to my cat, there is a cat and there is a mouse. The cat, in its instinct, right, will hunt the mouse. That's what it does. With some very interesting limitations to that. There was a mother cat with kittens that was adopted by this family, and they lived next to a field. And the mother cat would go into the field. They had a wading pool that was empty. She put her kittens in the wading pool. She would capture a mouse, and she would bring it to her kittens so that they could learn how to hunt. Right? But it's the same thing. That's in the nature of the mother cat is to teach her kittens how to be cats. Right? She's not teaching them, there's PETA in the world who thinks that it's really not good for us to eat rats and mice. We should let them overpopulate the world with rats and mice, so we will become vegetarians, and I will teach my kittens how to,
How to sow alfalfa.
Right. I have yet to see such a thing.
I've seen some humans turn their cats into vegans.
Not good for the cat. The digestive system isn't designed that way. They're being cruel. He quotes another Gemara that goes in this way. This is from Sanhedrin Sadites, the parak that we're currently in Daf Yomi. Adam la'adam la'amal yulad. A man was created to work, to toil. Amal is really toil, not work. Amar Rabbi Eliezer, Eini Yodeh.
That's what we see in the Agana.
Amar Rabbi Eliezer, Eini Yodeh im la'amal po, im la'amal l'malacha. I don't know whether he's supposed to work here, if it's work is toil here, meaning with Torah, or he's supposed to work with work. Kshu omer nefesh amala, amla, lo. I think I've got that right. Ki ukafalav, pihu. That the soul is for toil, right? And I think it's like a bridle in its mouth. Omer la malpo. And so I say, it's for Torah. Ve'adayin en yodea im la mal Torah or la mal sicha. If it's for Torah or speech. Kashu omer lo yamush sefer Torah hazemi picha ve'agisa bo yamam v'layla. When it says the sefer Torah should not leave your mouth and you should coo in it day and night. Ve'omer la mal Torah. So I see that the soul of a person was created so that he can involve himself in Torah, right? Obviously we have to do other things. We have to make a living. We have to prepare food. There are all sorts of things that human beings have to do besides learning Torah. Otherwise, the Torah wouldn't exist. But the question is, what is the purpose of everything that we do? And Amelos B'Torah can express itself in many different ways, right? Torah here is a broad term. I don't think it's only limud to Torah. It can be performing mitzvahs and masim tovim and all of these various things. What is the goal of what we do? Right? Is the goal of what we do to, we just had it, right? Break Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record in hockey? What?
Ovechkin.
Yeah, he's the one who just did it.
Right.
Or is our goal to leave a better world behind us as much as we can?
Well, that might be a better world.
So he can developing this theme even further. Aval koach hadabri shu yoter nivdal b'ma shelo nimtza b'shar balei chayim. This power of speech is more separated because it's not found in any other living creatures, right? No other creature talks, right? People have said we've taught monkeys to say, certain things and dogs certain things, that they can tell you when they're hungry and this and that. They're only able to express the most basic things the physical needs of existence. You cannot, no matter how much we've taught this monkey to talk and sign language and so on and so forth, you cannot have a discussion with the monkey about what is the purpose of creation.
You're not going to talk to him about Hovas Alavavos?
No, it's not going to work. It's not there. Ki im ba'adam.
The conversations I've had in life.
but it is within man. Lekach hakoach hazehu yoter nivdal. That is why this ability is more separated from other creatures. Ve'efshar ki dai hu sheyotzi min hakoach el hapoel. And this is where it's enough to take this from its potential to its reality. Hakoach hagufani, the physical potential. Vein tzarech lahotzi koach hadibri el hapoel she'ein adam nivra al ze ve'al ze. Amar kevan dikativ nefesh amala amalo. Except that we're told that the soul has to toil in, as we said previously, in Torah, right? Meaning, you might think that, yeah, I worked, I became I really learned how to lick stamps perfectly and get them perfectly straight on the envelope. That's my specialty, right? You didn't do what a human being was supposed to do. The idea that we are told to toil in Torah, to work at this, is showing us that we are supposed to be developing something, right? Where we take our abilities and use them to express, let us say, some divine connection, right? And as Rav Kook says, Kol zman shachasar gam sirtut echad haganuz ba'omek hanefesh. As long as there's even one line that is hidden within the depths of the soul, shelo yatsa lapol, that hasn't been realized.
Should it hidden? Where was it?
Ba'omek, it's haganuz ba'omek hanefesh.
Shir HaShirim.
Yeah, as long as we are lacking one line that is hidden in the depth of the soul, shelo yatsa lapol, it hasn't come out and been realized yet. Od yesh chova al avodat hamanut lahotsiyo. It is the obligation upon the artist, and the artist may be the human being and what he's doing, to bring this into a state of reality, to bring it out, right? We so often...
The tortured artist.
Yeah, I mean, but not only that, I think the name Yisrael means to struggle with God, right? And Rav Kook is using the artistic model for the struggle with God as well, right? The artist can express universal ideas that touch everyone's soul, and that's the great art, right? There are certain things that centuries and centuries after they were done, in different worlds, in different, I don't know how to, different cultures, people look at these things and go, this is really incredible, right?
Yeah.
And there are other things that 5 years after they're made, everyone goes, this is a piece of garbage, and that's the difference, Rav Kook says, between something that where the artist has gone down to the depths of the soul of mankind. All right? And that is where we will leave it for this week.